Good day everyone. With great joy, I profile you all a cheerful welcome to this week's episode of Church Sound Production Series, a weekly video tutorial to educate, guide and guide us in the production of sound in our respective place of worship. Thanks for taking out time out of your busy schedule watching Church Sound Production Series. I am so appreciative seeing the number of views, shares and comments. Please do not give up on me. Keep sharing and sharing and sharing until it gets to the end of the earth. Also, thanks for the encouragement and diverse support. If you are new to this channel, my name is Mark Adebayo. Are you inspired having watched some of my tutorials and would like to watch more? Please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button on the screen, likewise the notification bell, so you can be informed when there is a fresh video. Go nowhere, I'll be back soon. Glad to have you back. Last week on Church Sound Production Series, we discussed the microphone, an example of an input device on the sound equipment as a component of sound production. We considered how the microphone works. In today's episode of Church Sound Production Series, we shall be discussing why microphone selection is important. The microphone is, by its nature, at the very beginning of most sound systems and recording applications. If the mic can't capture the sound clearly and accurately and with low noise, even the best electronics and speakers following it won't produce the optimum sound. So it is important to invest in good microphones to maximize sound system performance potential. As we shall be discussing in the subsequent tutorials, there are many different types of microphone in common use. These differences are usually described in two ways: the technology they use, for example the dynamic condenser etc, and their directionality, for example the omnidirectional cardioid etc. In addition, microphones have a number of other characteristics which need to be taken into account. When choosing a microphone, the first thing you will need to know is what characteristics you need. After that, you can worry about things like size, brand, cost, etc. Things to consider when selecting a microphone. Let us walk through each of these characteristics as you determine your needs. Directionality. Decide which type of directional pattern best fits your needs. Remember that it is usually better to use a less directional mic in a position close to the sound source than to be further away using an uppercardioid. Frequency response. Make sure the mic's frequency response is appropriate for the intended use. As a rule of thumb, flat response patterns are best, but in many cases a tailored response will be even better. The third characteristics, we have the impedance. The rule of thumb is low impedance is better than high impedance. Then the fourth, we have handling noise. Remember that the diaphragm works by converting vibrations from sound waves into electrical signals. Unless the microphone has some sort of protection system, the diaphragm can't tell the difference between a desirable sound wave vibration and any other sort of vibration, such as a person tapping the microphone casing. Any sort of vibration at all will become part of the generated audio signal. If your mic is likely to be subjected to any sort of handling noise or vibration, you will need a mic which will help prevent this noise from being picked up. High-quality handheld mics usually attempt to isolate the diaphragm from vibrations using foam padding, suspension, or some other method. Low-quality mics tend to transfer vibrations from the casing right into the diaphragm, resulting in a terrible noise. Note that lavalier mics don't usually have protection from handling noise, simply because they are too small to incorporate any padding. It is therefore important to make sure they won't be moved or bumped. Purchasing a microphone. If you can afford it, it makes sense to buy a range of microphones and use the most appropriate one for each job. If your budget is more limited, think about all the different things you need to use the mic for and trying to find something which will do a reasonable job of as many of them as possible. For vocalists, a simple cardiodynamic mic such as the Shure SM58 is a good starting point. For video makers, a useful option is a condenser mic with selectable directionality so you can change between cardioid and apocardoid. If you can afford 3 mics, consider a handheld dynamic, a shotgun condenser, and a lapel mic. In conclusion, sound is quite subjective. You really want a mic which will provide the sound you like? A good idea is to set up a control test. Record the same sound using different mics, keeping all other factors constant. Make sure you are comparing apples with apples. For instance, don't compare a handheld cardioid and a shotgun in the same position. If you do want to compare these mics, make sure each is placed in its optimum position. This is how far we can run on this week's episode of Church Sound Production Series. Next week, we shall be discussing classes of microphone. Your feedbacks and comments go a long way. I'll be glad to know your opinion vis-a-vis the topics discussed thus far. Furthermore, do you have questions relative to any of the treated topics? Please feel open and unrestricted to drop them in the comment section, and I promise that it shall be treated. Thanks for watching, and please be sure to subscribe. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not. Also hit the notification bell so you can be notified when there is a fresh video. Equally, like, share, and comment. You can as well follow me on other social media handles as shown on the screen. Until I come your way yet again next week on Church Sound Production Series, my name is Mark Adebayo. Bye.